Take on It by It's_Kingston on AO3. Episode 2, Chapter 2. Luz walked through the bare hallways, arriving at a door labeled Mr. Jackson's History Room 103. She took a deep breath in, calming her nerves before entering the mostly filled classroom. Ah, there's our new student. A man with arguably too much hair gel said from the front of the classroom. I'm Mr. Jackson, and I'll be your history teacher, he explained. Would you introduce yourself to the class? Turning to face the filled desks, Luz introduced herself before turning back to the teacher. Where do I sit? She questioned, glancing back towards the desks, only a few which were open. You can take a seat in front of... here, next to... Jackson stopped for a moment, humming to himself. I'll have you sit next to... Augustus, he said, pointing across the room. Luz turned to see Gus, in the area she had been told to sit. Taking a seat to his left, she waved at him before smirking. Such a fancy name, Augustus, Luz joked. Gus tried to look angry, but ended up laughing despite his best attempts to stifle it. As the class finished, Mr. Jackson got everyone's attention for a seemingly important announcement. As you know, class, we started a new semester here. That means semester exams are right around the corner. You will have 2 weeks before they begin. Make sure to study for your main classes. Good luck. You're dismissed. No one in the class looked fazed. They all had been expecting that. As Luz would learn from Gus moments later, it happened every year. 4 times a year, actually, Gus said. But you probably don't have to worry about this one since you weren't here last semester, he explained, before sighing. I think you only have to do 1 this year since you missed the first 2, and you probably won't have to do this one. Lucky, he added, narrowing his eyes in mock anger. Luz wasn't sure if she was supposed to be worried about exams, but a wave of dread seemed to loom over her as she thought about them. Gus picked his books up from the table, gesturing for Luz to do the same. As she began to follow Gus out, Mr. Jackson stopped her. You don't have to participate in the exams, Mr. Jackson explained. But if you do believe you can do so, it would be a good benchmark for your teachers. He added on, looking through a drawer that sat below his desk. Pulling out a paper, he put it on his desk, sliding it towards Luz. If you would like to participate, this is what you need to study, he said as Luz picked up the paper, seeming a lot of similar subjects and concepts with a few she'd never heard of. Guess this is what they meant by advanced classes, Luz thought to herself, after seeing scrambled letters she didn't know were actual words. Okay, Luz said as she stepped away from the desk and walked out the classroom. Hey, are you okay? Gus asked while walking behind Luz. Yeah, I'm fine. That's just a lot to take in. I don't have to do exams, but I think the teacher expects me to. Luz replied back. Just got a brain overload, she joked, tapping on the side of her head. Gus laughed before continuing. If you need help with studying, I'm pretty good at math. I bet you don't realize I skipped 2 grades, he said, triumphantly. I would have never guessed, Luz fired back, gesturing towards the height difference between the two. Hey, that's a low blow, Gus exclaimed, putting his hands to his chest like he was offended, before laughing too. Sorry, Luz said, failing to stop her laughing. Forget I said that, she assured him, before adding on. We should probably get to our next classes, though. Oh no, you're right. I'll see you later. Gus waved and walked off into the training thick grouts. I should probably figure out what I have next, too, Luz mumbled, grabbing the paper she'd previously stuffed into her pocket. The paper read, Math Room, 117, which was just down the hall from where Luz stood. Nice, she exclaimed, giving a small fist bump, much to the confusion of everyone around her. The short path to the math room felt much longer than the brisk walk it was. Having to dodge between students and random piles of books, stepping up to the door, Luz twisted the knob, gently closing it behind her as she walked in. Hello. A kind voice spoke from the front desk. Luz turned to face them, waving to the teacher that had greeted her, and introduced herself. Following the same rhythm as the last class, she asked the teacher where she sat, and was told to sit in the front again. Luz was happy to sit in the front. She wanted to pay attention to her studies. She had always prided herself in her ability to quickly learn things, always retrieved good grades because of it. Go sit next to Amity, the teacher had instructed, pointing towards the window seat where a girl sat reading a textbook. The girl raised her head upon hearing her name. Once she made eye contact with Luz, she was aware of the situation, only scoffing before turning back to her book. Not next to Minty Fresh, Luz thought, taking her seat next to the girl. Though surprisingly, Amity did nothing. Luz wasn't sure if she was expecting something to happen, but nothing did. Luckily, the class was incident-free, though still not including the stress-inducing speech about exams at the end. Were exams that important? Luz questioned herself, trying to think if her old school ever had that exam focused. She decided to speak to Amity after class ended, hoping to get an answer. Hey, Luz said to Amity as they were grabbing their books to leave for their next class. What? Amity replied, very obviously annoyed. Are exams important? I've heard a lot about them, even though I've only been here a few hours. Luz continued speaking, choosing to ignore the tone Amity had responded with. They're very important, which is why I'm always in first place on the ranking board, Amity said, responding more seriously after hearing a genuine question. Or maybe she just wanted to boast. Huh. Okay. Luz shrugged, acting unimpressed in an attempt to annoy her new friend. What do you mean, okay? Amity shot back. Hook, line, and sinker, Luz thought, mentally patting herself on the back. Huh? Did I say something to aggravate you? Luz teased, feeling a bit bad for messing with the girl who gave her an honest answer. No, I simply wanted to clarify what you meant. You should probably go to your next class as well. Amity responded, staying calm despite the blatant teasing. Oh yeah, school. Thanks, Minty Fresh, Luz said, earning the confused scowl of Amity. I didn't mean to say that out loud, Luz murmured before quickly turning and walking away, not sure where she was headed. The next class passed by quickly, as Luz mindlessly jotted down notes. Her thoughts were consumed by the idea of exams. She thought it was weird how much people cared about them here. Minty Fresh being number 1 of the exam seemed pretty in character, though, so Luz doubted that was a lie. The science class had surprisingly not finished with the same exam speech the others did, but instead about just studying in general. Probably still about exams, Luz thought, trying to ignore the boring speech. As the teachers ended the speech, the bell rang out, piercing the relatively quiet room. All right, class, you're dismissed. The teacher sighed, probably ready for their lunch break. It's lunch, right? I get to eat with Willow and Gus, Luz thought to herself, walking to a locker to put her books away. Turning down the left hallway, like Willow had instructed earlier, Luz saw someone near her locker. Hey, Luz said, approaching the locker. Could you move? Oh, sorry. The person stepped to the side, trying to open their locker next to Luz, while balancing a stack of books. Here, let me get that for you. Luz reached over, twisting the unlocked handle and opening the door, while turning back to her own locker. Luz smelt the all-too-familiar, despite only encouraging it today, smell of mint. Looking at the person beside her, it was, as Luz had unfortunately guessed, Minty Fresh. I didn't know your locker was next to mine, Luz said, trying to break the awkward silence. Unluckily for Luz, it seemed her new pal liked the uncomfortable silence, only saying, Unfortunately so, before turning her attention back to her locker. Just what I was thinking, Luz mocked her answer, before closing the locker door and beginning to walk to the cafeteria. All right, chapter 3. Oh no. Okay, so I was gonna do the whole speech about the present for the gift from the holidays from me to you. And whoever guess what the gift is, you could guess either today or tomorrow. I would suggest guessing tomorrow. Gets a thumbs up and bragging rights, but tomorrow, this series is not going to receive that gift. It does not meet the qualifications. Maybe later down the road, you tend to qualify the further we get into your fix. Kingston, I've noticed that about, okay, so something I noticed about your fanfiction specifically is you always start off short. Short chapters, and slowly the chapters start to lengthen. So this could either be because you initially made this, to be shorter than it actually is, and then it got longed, which I do not think that's the case for all of them, because some of them seem to have really well out planning kind of thing. What I think is most likely the thing is you have a problem starting fan fictions, don't you? You have a problem starting them. Not in a problem sense of like, oh, I can't start them, but in the sense of you start them and you start small. You start small. And once you get into the groove of things, it's when things really start to pack up. I notice that your writing always becomes way more, not just elongated the chapters, but also I feel like you put a little more, not energy towards the end, but I feel like the end always has a little more thought put behind it. Or not thought, but like, no, emotion, radiation, like you get into your groove kind of situation, It's like you get into the flow of the story and the story just flows. Not that the story wasn't flowing in the beginning, but it just fully flows. It's so fluid. Like you were flowing and now you're flowing, You get what I mean? I hope you get what I mean, Kingston. So, this one also doesn't qualify, but hopefully soon it starts to qualify. It doesn't seem like it's going to qualify. But hopefully soon. Fingers crossed, and it qualifies soon. Kingston, you just replied to me. Hold on a second. Yeah, I asked the day I filmed these 2 videos because I said so. What is your reply? What is your reply? What is your reply? What is your reply? Oh my god, you have to let me go if you love me, bro. Also, I was going to go on a writing break because I was just so not there for writing yesterday. But after sending that comment, I was like, nah, you know what? I got a little idea. And now I'm 500 words deep into a new chapter, so thanks, lol. Realizing that we've only had like one conversation, not including talking about Fanfiction Club, that wasn't in our comments section. This is really where the friendship happens, I guess. We should talk more often, to be honest. You're a cool dude. I just assume you're busy most of the time and don't want to disturb anything. Kingston, no! Kingston, my dude. DM me. Kingston, DM me. You have my Discord, Kingston, we're besties. Kingston, you're a cool dude too. Kingston, how dare you? Okay, anyways, I just got broken up by friendship by Kingston. I thought we were tight. Anyways, I don't have much to say about this. I think it's really interesting. I wonder where the bet is gonna go off. A week. So it's a week's gonna pass by. Also, I noticed I hate angel numbers. Not that I noticed that I hate angel numbers. I just always knew. I noticed that 2 of the tags are Willow Park is not a good person and Gus Porter is not a good person. I'm scared. Anyways, as always, my rain drops. Make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.